It's 10 o'clock. Your appraisal is scheduled. Do you know where your realtor is? Hello, everybody. My name is Barry Horvath, and this is Moving Forward TV, your local market update.
And I am Delynn Gaston. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Delynn Gaston.
Hello, Barry Horvath.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your appraiser is?
Yes, the appraiser is on their way to an appointment.
Yes, so we have so much good information for you this week on appraisals. It's such a hot topic right now, what's going on in the market, and how this could literally save a deal or help you make a deal.
Right. It could make it or break it in a lot of cases. So this week,
He's
a
not
lot
close
of
to you this week. I get to break
I
you.
know.
What were you thinking?
We do a lunch and learn once a month, and this week's lunch and learn was
I do the lunch.
It was very heavily attended, very good because we had an appraiser on. So we thought it would be a great idea if we brought up some of the highlights from that. We're going to have some clips of that in another show at a future date because it was really a lot of information. But we just want to kind of touch on some of the more interesting and important points for you as a realtor when an appraisal is scheduled, what you need to be doing.
Well, the first thing you need to do is show up and be there when the appraiser gets there. I mean, that's so important. You have no idea because so many things can happen and you can point out. I mean, one of, we used Vicky Ricard was on our show. One of her things was the most important part, she said, was open communication.
Right.
Be transparent. Tell her everything so she can make a great evaluation. And I'm sure this is true with every appraiser out there. They all want to know the truth and they need to know the facts. And the more facts you can give them, the better job they can do and make their job easier.
Right. I understand
Thanks for agreeing with me, by the way.
You're welcome. I understand that, a lot of times the realtors think that, the appraisers don't want them there or it's a waste of time or something, but it really isn't, and they really do want you there. They want you to bring comps if you can. They may or may not use those comps, but bring them. Let them know how you kind of arrived at this value. If the homeowner has done some improvements and everything, mention them to them. They would also look at the previous listings, so don't try and hide something. If there was an issue or something that was there, because she's going to find it in the previous listings on the house and such. So make sure that that's all brought up and said, okay, but this happened, a roof leak or something like that, but it's been fixed. They did this or that, and here's the paperwork to show it.
Right. So let's talk about some of the things. Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Well, first, I think from a lending standpoint,
Yeah, let's talk about what can, when you're doing a cash deal, when you're doing a cash deal versus a finance deal, in a VA, FHA, conventional, they're all different appraisals. That's the one thing. And that might sound elementary, but a lot of people may not be aware of that the requirements are different for the appraisal. It's a different report. It's actually different requirements that the appraiser has to meet.
From a financing standpoint, the appraisal has to meet certain things, certain criteria, so that the person can get whatever type of loan that they're looking for. For example, if they're looking for a VA loan, there's certain criteria that has to be in that appraisal, VA appraisal. If it is an FHA loan, there's certain things additional things that the appraiser has to do to meet the requirements there.
And if it's conventional, it's different again.
Right. And everybody says,
different.
We get a lot of realtors that will say, well, the house is, they don't like doing FHA. They don't like when a buyer comes to buy one of their listings and it's going to be an FHA person because they're afraid because they're so strict on property quality and things like that. They are, but I got to tell you, in today's day and age when we had so many foreclosures and so many trash properties, even conventional is a little bit picky. Maybe not.
And as they should be.
As they should be, right?
They
don't want
remember the appraiser.
Dilapidated houses.
Really, the appraiser's job is not to, it's to protect the buyer, really,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, and it also is to protect the lender because the lender's going to be giving you all this money, and
Right.
they want to make sure that. Remember some of the fraud back there, the facades.
Yes.
Like they took a picture of the front of a house and they showed behind it, and there really wasn't even a house there.
Right.
That's kind of crazy when you think about the things
They
that
even had
own.
like wrong houses in appraisals.
Yeah.
They took a picture of a different house because it
Yeah,
looked
it's
nicer.
like, oh yeah,
I mean, it was
cool.
horrible.
And now you got all these street views, aerial views, like
Interior pictures,
Yes,
exterior pictures,
it's
front,
like,
back.
Yeah, the days of a 2055, which was a drive-by. You don't even hear about
They're
those
gone.
anymore. Yeah, drive-by appraisal. So let's talk about one of the biggest issues right now that's going on in the market. We're in a rising market right now, and values are going up. So what happens is the investors come out, and they're doing
Especially in our area.
flips.
Flip.
Yeah, I was going to let you do one, but I guess she can't do it today.
Yeah, no.
You guys weren't here, but
That wouldn't be
during our warm up, she was actually on the floor
Flipping.
doing flips.
I was doing cartwheels and yeah, not.
You guys just stick around. You just never know what Delynn Gaston might pull out. So flips. So what's the big deal about flips, Delynn? From a lending standpoint, cash buyer, nobody cares.
Right.
But, I mean, I'm sure they do, but but you have timelines, particularly on FHA. So if a house is purchased, if an investor buys it per se, and if it's less than 90 days on an FHA, it's a no deal.
No deal.
And that's the
And
contract.
that's an FHA guideline. FHA guideline. They will not do a house for an FHA buyer. They will not do that house if it was bought by an investor and being flipped in the last 90 days. Won't do it at all.
And the key is
It's not a lender thing. It's an FHA thing.
and it has to be the 91st day from when the previous person closed. That's very important.
And the contract, right? So we go by the date that the investor bought the house. Your FHA buyer cannot enter into that contract, cannot even sign the agreement, the contract, until the 91st day. A lot of people say, oh, well, we'll just close on the 91st day or the 92nd day. Cannot even enter into that contract until the 91st day. So please be aware of that.
Now, if it's after the 91st day and into the 180th day, and for you mathematicians, that's 6 months, so I thought I'd help you out there. I was just kidding. Just kidding.
Need my HP.
You will need a second appraisal
Right.
to be, to confirm that
That
value is going to be there.
And again, this is an FHA guideline, so this is only when you have an FHA buyer. Someone coming to buy a flip property, an investor, bought it and has fixed it all up and selling it. If your buyer is an FHA, and we bring this up because a lot of the investors are coming in and buying the lower priced homes, which are probably in the $60,000 to $150,000 price range. Those are a perfect FHA price range. So we do see a lot of FHA buyers. It is. We see a lot of FHA buyers on those, so we wanted to bring this stuff up to you. So if it is, more than 90 days but less than 180 days, a second appraisal will be required. Again, it's an FHA requirement, and the big part is
that the seller or the realtor must pay for it. The buyer cannot.
someone else.
Yeah, someone else.
I don't
So,
care who pays for
you know
it,
what?
but it
If you-
cannot be the buyer.
If you think that's really cool, stick around because we got a lot more coming up.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Okay, we're back to Lynn, and we're talking with and about appraisals.
About appraisals and
Yeah.
why they're important for you to be there as a realtor, and what to watch out for if you have a flip property. So we're on flips. Now on the conventional side.
I still want to see you do that flip again.
Yeah, right. On the conventional side, we
do
talked
it,
a lot about
do
the FHA flips and some of the very hardened rules that FHA has against flipping properties or dealing with a flip property.
You know,
On a
it's-
conventional side,
On the conventional side, no worries, no issues. I mean, you have to justify increase in value. You can't buy a house for 50 grand and then suddenly it's worth 150,000 overnight. They're going to ask for justification
Right.
of that. But there are no hard rules. And
right,
now,
like FHA
Now,
has.
keep in mind, certain lenders may have their own individual overlays
Correct.
that not are aligned with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guidelines. So keep that in mind when you're shopping for your loans. So
Right.
different people do have different.
Now, why
individual
is that, Barry? Why is conventional could care less about flips and FHA is
it's
so
funny.
strict?
It's so funny. We got a call about that right after. They're like, "Why is FHA different?" All right, they didn't ask like that. Sorry for the caller. Because remember, folks, FHA is guaranteeing and insuring that loan for you. If that loan defaults, FHA is the one that is going to pony up and take care of it. The government is guaranteeing that loan.
Right.
So, gotta love it.
So they're a little more strict
Yeah, they're going to
on it.
always be. So all right, let's talk about some things you should do while you're out there.
With the appraiser.
With the appraiser.
Like we said,
A,
meet the appraiser out there.
yeah.
Bring comps. Bring your justification. Bring with you whatever documentation that
you know,
the
it's-
seller has given you.
What was it? The
of
one
improvements
realtor
they've done.
said, "Should I bring donuts?" Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
not
she
a
said,
bad idea.
"Here's an apple pie."
Yeah, apple pie.
That was funny.
That was hilarious. Yeah, bring an apple pie to get your way.
Yeah, that might help.
Because there's certain things that have to be done. Now, for one, first of all, make sure the utilities are on.
Yes.
Do you know
Please,
what
please,
happens
please,
if the
please.
utilities aren't on, if the water's not on, the power's not on? Guess what? The appraiser has to come back out and re-inspect.
After you put them on. Don't expect the appraiser to turn on, if the electric is not on or the water's not on, don't expect the appraiser to turn it on because they can't, first
Right.
of all. It's their liability. They don't know if the water is off, maybe because there's a major leak going on somewhere in the house. And if you don't meet them there to tell them that, they don't know that. So if they put the water on and all of a sudden now all of the cabinets and everything get flooded because
Yeah, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea.
they're not going to.
Now,
and
let's
I've had
talk
people
about
say
the other
that.
side of that. If you don't do that, your buyer is going to be pretty upset because guess what? That reinspection typically costs about $150
Right.
for the appraiser to come back out and say, "Okay, you turned the water on. Everything
Right.
seems okay."
And who's going to pay for that $150? Well, guess whose credit card they have on file? The buyers. Is
They're-
it fair that the buyer pays
because you didn't show up?
you didn't show up to put the water on and the electric on or have arrangements made for that? That's not fair. So when the appraiser calls you to do that inspection, please, 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 before setting up that time and date, make sure that you line it up so that the utilities are on in the house.
Let's talk about some of the other issues now that we know that you're going to show up, now that we know that you're going to do make sure the utilities
right.
are on or so forth. There's other things you need to look out for, like carpeting. Floor covering is a big thing. People think, "Oh, this is some old carpet. Let's get it out of here." Well, guess what? That old carpet was good enough to do that inspection
Right.
and would pass. It doesn't matter if it smells like dog. It doesn't matter if it's dirty. Leave
It's
it in
there.
It's floor covering. And floor covering is required.
Yes.
You can't have bare. Now, if you have a bare floor, you better get out a paint roller and make it look really good, really quick.
We get that question a lot. Is a painted concrete floor okay? Yes.
In today's world, yeah. Because that's kind of cool.
But like
That's
Vicki
the new
says,
look.
don't paint the floor concrete gray.
Yeah,
Pick
yeah.
a different color. That's
Exactly.
okay if you're going to have a painted floor. Again, as long as it's not like all chipped up and there's, holes in it and divots and things that could be a safety hazard. But if you have a nice concrete floor or something, yes, you can paint it. Just don't paint it gray. Don't paint it the
I know.
color of concrete.
Let's talk about some other things. How about polybutylene? What's up with that stuff?
Polybutylene, some of you know about that already, some of you don't. That is in the plumbing. And that
Yes.
was something that was very popular, especially, as they say, in the Sun Belt down here in Florida. Between 1978 and 1995, it was a way a lot of builders were using it, plumbers, on new construction homes because it was much cheaper.
And it was the wave of the future. Like
Yes.
copper was going away. Copper was no more. We're not using copper. We're using this new stuff. And now
Guess what?
and now it's a problem. So if you
New
know it's
stuff doesn't
there,
work.
you probably want to let the appraiser know, because that can be a major challenge. They're going to
Right.
find out, and you could be at liability
And what it
for
is
not
it's an insurance
disclosing.
problem,
You
because
ha-
the insurance companies
you-
find out, and now we don't have an insurable house.
Disclose.
Right,
That's all
find
I
out
can
about this
say.
stuff up front and get it fixed if need be.
What about
The other thing is
broken-
aluminum wiring.
Oh, aluminum wiring.
Aluminum wiring, same
That's a
thing.
shocker. Sorry.
You just had to go there, huh? You just had to throw that one in.
Sorry. I'll be quiet
Aluminum
now.
wiring is also a problem and an issue. Now, it's not that the entire house is going to have to be rewired, but the points or whatever it is going into
Points.
the box.
Clearly, Delynn is not an electrician. The points,
The wires going into
the
the box
gizmos,
cannot be
the
aluminum.
little wrappy things, little duct tape on them.
So you have to at least get those changed out. And again, all of this stuff is really good to do before the appraiser goes out,
Yeah,
because again,
probably
we
a good
don't
idea.
want to have to send the appraiser
right.
back out for an after inspection, which costs money.
Okay, we'll talk about some more things. You know what? Don't forget, we got Chat and Dish coming up.
You know,
It's
we
gonna
got
be
such a
featured.
great response from that last week.
Oh
They
my
really,
gosh.
everybody
That-
loves Casey. We love you too, Casey. She is awesome.
I don't know if we love the food more, if we love Casey more, but
We love Casey.
Yeah, we do.
And she's great.
She
So
is.
here's another tip from Casey.
I'm Casey Quaretti, this is Chat and Dish, and today I'm going to show you how to make the ground zero of cakes, a lemon yogurt cake. Okay, originally the French farm wives would be making this yogurt cake using actually the yogurt container as the measuring cup. But it kind of works out to about a half a cup per yogurt container. We're not going to use this, but we are going to use the lemon yogurt, so that's one container. Then I've got a cup of sugar, a cup and a half of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, the zest of a lemon, and 3 nice large eggs. Today I'm going to be using a half a cup of olive oil. I like the combo of olive oil and lemon, but you can use any oil that you want. So let's make cake and eat it too. Let's mix in our sugar and our baking powder. And then we're going to give that just a quick stir. Make sure they're mixed up really well. Once the flour, sugar, and baking powder are incorporated, we're going to grab another bowl and mix together our yogurt and our eggs. Just take a whip and mix together the yogurt and the 3 eggs. It's so easy, you know, I don't even bother with an electric mixer on this cake. Now we just need to add the zest of 1 lemon. Make sure that you don't go down too deep. When you're using your zester, you only want the yellow part, not the white. The white's the part that's really bitter. Okay, now our liquids go into the flour sugar mixture, and we're gonna give that a good hearty mix together. Now I'm just measuring out a half a cup of olive oil. All right, I'm now gonna, with the whisk, mix the olive oil into our cake batter. Seems a little funny at first. It's not the kind of cake batter that you're used to, but just keep whisking, and you know what? They'll incorporate beautifully. I've got a 9-inch baking pan that I have coated with nonstick spray. Now I'm just gonna pour my batter in. I'm just using a spatula to get the last little bits of cake batter out of my dish. Now I'm gonna take my baking pan and I'm gonna just tap it on the counter a couple times. It gets out the big air bubbles. Your cake will bake nice and evenly. It's in there nice and level. So our cake is now ready for a 350-degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes. Ooh, the timer's just gone off, so I'm going to test the cake and see if it's done. Insert a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, your cake is cooked. It is. Perfect. While the cake's cooling, I'm going to make a quick glaze. I'm just squeezing the lemon juice from the lemon that we used for the zest into about 1/3 of a cup of powdered sugar. That's it. Nothing fancy here. This is really a farm-style cake. Just mix up your lemon and your sugar, drizzle it all over the top of the cake, and that's all you have to do. I'm just spreading the glaze around across the top of the cake. You know, you can add fruit to this if you want. You don't have to use lemon flavoring. You can use almond, you can use nuts, you can use apples, whatever flavor yogurt you want, and get experimental. This is a great base for any kind of cake that you want to make. Until next time, I'm going to miss you.
Oh my gosh, did you see that? Did that look good or what?
You know, I gain weight just watching sometimes, you know.
Oh, I can't. All right.
I don't know how she does it, and she stays so slim. She makes all this phenomenal food.
I know. She doesn't eat it.
Yeah, that's it. She just like, you know.
She makes us eat it. Nobody wants to eat their own cooking. That's kind of how it goes.
If we lived like closer to her, I mean, I would just be
Where
in
does she
trouble.
live?
I don't know, but her office is only 10 minutes from our office,
Wait. I know where she lives because I've been to her clubhouse and to their
Yeah,
little
she's
pink-
close. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. Sorry,
you do.
Casey, love you, but I don't need to know.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, let's talk about some of the other potential issues. How about broken windows,
Broken windows,
holes in walls?
put a picture on it. No, I'm kidding.
What about roof life expectancy? That can
Right.
be a challenge too. You might want to, find out if you can get insurance beforehand. Because
Mostly
if there's-
when the appraisers are looking, they're looking for safety, safety and soundness. So
Right.
it's not a lot of holes in walls and everything, but gosh, if it's there, address it, or tell your seller, just plug it up or something like that. But it's really the safety and soundness of the house that they're really looking for. So let's say though. And in an FHA, they're looking for green pools. Down here in Florida, we
Yeah,
have a lot of pools.
We can't have a green pool.
Can't have a green pool with
You know,
an
when you-
FHA.
you know what,
Conventional doesn't care as much,
gotta-
but
I can't help but go back when you said hole in the wall and then all this food stuff. I'm thinking I love to go to these hole in the wall places to eat.
he's back. He's back to
I
food.
went to the food. I'm on Chat and Dish. I got my own. I'm going
I
on
know.
that. Can I go on that show?
Yes, actually, we should have Casey have us on. That would be
I think
awesome,
it'd be
man.
cool. It would be. You know what? It would be more fun than this appraisal stuff. Just
Yeah, I
saying.
know.
All right. Anyway.
But anyway,
Did I get
so
you totally off track?
So what? Yeah. So what do
Good
we
thing
do
it's
when
not
we
football
do?
season. Yeah, but the Lightning did win 9 in a row. Do you know that?
Yay! I do like hockey.
Yeah, but we're coming up to
All right,
playoffs real soon.
so on an appraisal. So what do we do if we do have a house? You have a listing and the house is.
what are
it's
your
in rough-
options?
rough-
What are your choices?
So what are the buyer's options? I know that we
Let's
do
say
see.
the AC's gone. What do we do?
What do we do? So you do have a couple of options for your buyers. If you do have a house that you know is not going to pass FHA and might even be questionable on conventional, what do? Here are some of the options. Some lenders do offer what's called an escrow holdback, where as long as the amount of repairs doesn't exceed $5,000, maybe it is just an AC.
And that can vary by lender again,
Right.
remember? So,
Exactly. Not all lenders offer this, but
'Cause-
some lenders do.
and it would do it for, they would even do some will for a roof, but I don't know where you're going to get a roof for $5,000. Just
Yeah,
saying,
that's not
today's
happening.
market.
But let's say it is an AC, or let's say there's like
small AC.
there's something in the house. There is no flooring. They ripped out the carpets or whatever, and we need to get tile down or something like that. And you need to get to the house fixed up, but you don't have the money to do that. They're going to do an escrow holdback. You do the work ahead of time, and then after the work is completed and it is inspected and everything is signed off on, then the money is released. So you do have to have some money up front to do it. The seller's not going to get everything until after the fact.
That's certainly a good option, but you know what's more exciting?
But what if it's more
What
than
if it's more extravagant?
$5,000?
What if you want to do a room addition? What if you want to do a complete remodel? What if you want to do a whole
What if you need
kitchen
a roof on a 3,000 square foot
thing?
house?
Yeah, you can do what's called an FHA 203K rehab.
Right.
Wow, what a program that is. And in fact, it's so exciting that next week we got special guests who are experts in that. And if you don't learn about that, shame on you, because there's so many houses that need rehabbing out there that this program could be good for. 'Cause
Especially down here in our market, there are so many homes that are in disrepair because of all of the foreclosures or neglect, that kind of thing. And really, on an FHA 203K, as Barry said, it could even be used for an addition in a perfectly fine house. It doesn't have to be a house in disrepair. They just want to put a second floor on the house. They just want to put
just
an
wanna put
addition.
a second floor. Okay.
Well, that's popular actually up north, I'm not
Why don't we
kidding.
dig a basement while we're out at DeLynn, Florida? What a great idea.
We already have them. It's called sinkholes.
Oh, yeah, that's another problem you want to tell your appraiser about because they're going to find out. But that's a whole nother show.
That's
too.
all. But anyway, we do have some special guests coming next week that are going to dive into the 203K and the repair escrow program and things like that, and educate you about those things. And if you don't know those, as Barry said, you need to tune in next week's show because that is definitely something that's big in our area.
We're going to go all into detail next week. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be some good stuff. Now, if we don't do an escrow holdback and we didn't, we
Not doing a 203K, and
Not
we're not
doing
doing
it.
and we
So
just
what are
have
your
a
options,
dilapidated
Lorraine?
house. find another house. If the seller won't help out and fix some of the stuff, if we can't do a 203K and we can't do an escrow holdback and it's just a dilapidated house, pay cash.
You're just so full of answers.
Sorry.
I'm the idea man,
Pay
but you
cash.
got all the answers. Yeah, I say do D, all the above. That's my solution. You know, we got some great stuff coming up, so, you know, you want to stay tuned and you definitely want to share our show, get it out there, get
Yes,
us
yes,
out
yes.
on LinkedIn,
Facebook, like
Twitter.
us, share us.
We are all over the web.
We appreciate you guys watching and sharing and getting us out there. Please share this with all of your clients as well who are looking to buy houses right now so that they know what some of the options are and they're not afraid of those FHA houses and they're not afraid of those houses that look like they need roof or need appliances or need, you know, new air conditioning system or something like that. We want to make sure people are comfortable with buying those as well.
And don't forget, don't miss next week, 203K Rehab.
You don't want to miss that.
Yes,
Thanks so
no.
much, everyone. We are today and every day.
Moving forward.
We'll see everyone next week.
Did I slap you yet? Oh, sorry.
Ouch. Bye.